What's going on, guys? Sorry I wasn't able to do any videos. My YouTube was acting crazy on me, won't let me post any videos, so I missed a lot of content, which obviously between the playoffs and the Super Bowl and all that nonsense. Let me start by saying it's really cold up here in upstate New York. My dash says -7, but it's definitely with the wind chill about -11. But we've had a good winter so far, so I'm not really worried about it staying this cold. So a lot of things happened since my last video update. Obviously, Denver's defense winning the Super Bowl. I wouldn't actually say Denver's defense. I'd say Cam Newton lost the Super Bowl, but whatever. That's in the past. I really can't. I'm not going to sit here and make a review video for you guys. But just a quick update on what I learned or what I've heard about the Eagles and what we're doing. I'm actually trying to remember my last video, what actually I even said in there. So if I repeat myself, I apologize. So obviously one of the main news I heard was Riley Cooper got cut. Not a big deal. In his sense, he wasn't that good of a wide receiver, but he could have been, he could have been better. Obviously, he had, decent numbers. I think he only had about 2 touchdowns on the year, which is absolutely atrocious for us. But us losing Riley Cooper means that we now lost our third wide receiver in our core, and that's absolutely a no-go. So now our wide receivers, as of right now, our starting wide receivers, I think we're going to be obviously Jordy Matthews, Nelson Aguilar, who was hurt half the year, and Josh Huff, who played a lot out of the backfield, if I can remember that much. And I know from what I'm hearing that they want to bring a lot of the guys off the practice squad, and we're talking about this one guy whose name I can't really pronounce, and I apologize, I honestly forgot, but I guess he was doing pretty good according to what Doug Peterson said. So I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, we need to go after someone in free agency and or the draft. Honestly, I honestly think this is going to be a rebuilding year. Obviously, we're not going to win anything. We might. You never know. But whatever. But I think honestly, the only wide receivers that are even worth going in the market for when free agency begins is Marvin Jones from the Cincinnati Bengals. He's the only free agent that I know that's even worth paying money to. I've seen a couple other ones, a lot of older guys, but unfortunately, it's a bad timing for the Eagles to get rid of a wide receiver when we really, really needed a wide receiver. So we'll see what happens. Free agency starts in about a month now, maybe less than a month, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, definitely need to go at least after a wide receiver, whether we trade. We need a stud on that thing. Hey, Doug Peterson, would you mind calling up Megatron? We'll absolutely take him. But, when it comes to this, I think we're going to have to use... if you think about it, us signing Brent Selleck and Zach Ertz to multi-year long deals, which just means that we're going to use a 2 tight end set, I believe, and our offense, which gives us a total of five receivers we can use, which isn't a horrible thing, but, Selleck is, is older, and Ertz, he gets his groove towards the end of the year, but we just need him to, we need him to produce more in the beginning of the year when it's really, really needed. The guy finished 6th among tight ends this year, which isn't horrible. When you have guys like Delaney Walker, Gronk, Eifert, and obviously Greg Olsen. So not horrible, but it could be much, much worse. So, but if that's what Doug Peterson wants to do, I welcome it. Any change is better than none, I guess. Notice how Chip Kelly's. You haven't heard any news buzzing around San Francisco about Chip Kelly, and that's a good thing. And Kaepernick wants out. He wants to go to the Jets, from what I'm hearing. but it was also shut down, so nobody really knows what's going on in that. But next thing I want to touch base on is Jim Schwartz, obviously changing us over to back to what we were as a 4-3 defense instead of a 3-4. Absolutely much better for us. A lot of our guys played in that system, and I think it's going to work out a lot better for us. And like I said, a lot of our guys know it. I mean, Jim Schwartz led the Buffalo Bills to the 2014 season. Great year. So I think with the mix and us signing a bunch of guys, and I got a feeling we're going to be signing Fletcher Cox to a huge deal here soon after signing Curry and Lane Johnson and all those guys. We have all our guys back from injury. I think our secondary was beat up towards the end of the season last year. So I believe once all those guys are healthy, we're going to have a pretty solid defense. Obviously not, what we want or what we used to be back in the early 2000s and stuff like that, but it's whatever. I'm not really going to get big into the defense because I'm not a defensive guy. I like to talk about the offensive more. But obviously, a lot of things need to happen in Philly. We need to figure out what's going on with our running game, whether it's if we're going to keep all three running backs, whether it's Darren Sproles, Ryan Matthews, and DeMarco Murray, or if we're going to, use one as a fullback or use one as one, on a third down only. And I believe that what we should do, this is complete opinion, not like it's actually going to happen, but I want DeMarco Murray to be our main running back. And a lot of people look at his numbers last year. The guy had garbage numbers, and a lot of people want him out or whatever. It wasn't his fault he had such a crappy year. It was Chip Kelly's. He gave the bulk of I just ran something over. I don't know what it was. The bulk of the carries to Ryan Matthews and Darren Sproles. So DeMarco was really used for third down a lot, I think, and a lot of 1st and 10s. Not really worth it. So what I believe is I want DeMarco Murray to be our main running back. I mean, Darren Sproles, he is getting a little older, and Ryan Matthews has a lot to go. But they're all really, really well, and I want Darren Sproles to be coming out of the backfield. I want him to be running out to the sides and doing slant routes. I want him to be more of not really much of a receiver, but I want him to do more receiving things than running things because he's so fast and he can just run through that defense. And I mean, Ryan Matthews is a workhorse. I mean, I don't mind him being our second or even, putting him in goal line situations and stuff like that. But I want DeMarco Murray. I mean, look at the guy had a 1,300 yard rushing, 2 years ago, and he comes to Philly and gets a 600-yard rushing year. So that obviously tells you something. Obviously, our O-line needs work. I mean, that's obviously apparent. I mean, but I think we're going to go offensive line into the draft. So I'm going to actually have a good draft video, who I think we need to pick up and who I think we need to go after and stuff like that later on this week. Like I said, my YouTube account got pretty cratty, so nobody knows. Who knows, man? I'm actually kind of mad because I missed a lot of opportunities to talk about things that I wanted to talk about. I did pick Denver to win 31-27, I believe I picked that. I did a lot of betting for the Super Bowl, lost a lot of bets, but it's not a big deal. So yeah, just a couple things, just a refresh video saying hello to you guys again, and I'll be back on. Obviously, these videos are going to slow down a lot more because, the Eagles aren't playing. I'm really, really big into basketball right now, so once I'll be getting other videos like basketball. Me and my buddies might goof off a little bit, do some video game nonsense or do some nonsense, but predominantly this is a Philadelphia Eagles fan coming at you with all the breaking news and everything like that. One thing before I do go, Doug Peterson was talking about his need for a quarterback and what we're going to do. So I was looking at my Eagles app the other day, and it was saying that we can do 3 things with Bradford, essentially. Obviously trade him, sign him to a huge deal, or draft a quarterback in the draft. And from what I'm hearing, we're going back after Foles. I mean, Nick Foles, he's a jersey that I own. I love Nick Foles here in Philly. He did a lot good for us. I mean, the guy had, 2 interceptions the whole year before, he got hurt or whatever. and before Mark Sanchez came in. So that's also a thing. I think we got to get. I think we need to part way with Sanchez. I think we need to. I don't know why we didn't. I don't know why we got rid of a lot of our guys. Kind of upsets me. We need some younger guys. So what I want Nick Foles to come back, draft a quarterback, mid to late rounds. Just to just to get his shoes wet. We did have a young quarterback, but they decided to get rid of him, and that sucked, to be honest with you. But that was just Chip Kelly, and I really don't. I hate going back onto Chip Kelly and what he does, but he ruined this team a lot more than people think that Andy Reid did, and the years before that, and even the years before I was born. A lot of people think that Andy Reid did a horrible job in his tenure in Philadelphia, but I think in the 3 years Chip Kelly was there, he completely tore it apart. The hype was there, obviously, the first year when we went 10-6, and we got crushed in the playoffs. But there's always next year. That's the way I see it. So there's a couple things we got to work on, but I'll catch you guys later. Stay warm in upstate New York if you're up here, and have a good day. Go Birds!